In this video, we're covering everything that you could possibly need to know about living in Olathe in under 30 minutes. Now, this is from the schools, the places to eat, the main roads, the parks, anything fun to do. And then finally, if you're interested in buying a home in the Kansas City suburbs, the last part is for you. We'll discuss all of the different new home communities, as well as the differences between the existing and the new homes that are built there. Now, first things first, you probably didn't start your search if you were researching where to live in Kansas City, best places to live, what are the best suburbs. Probably didn't start that search in Olathe. You probably started that search in Overland Park. And if that's the case and you haven't seen my previous map tour of Overland Park, go ahead and check it out right here after you've watched this video. But the reason I say that is because Overland Park is one of the highest ranking suburbs in the Kansas City area. It's ranking nationally. You've got the Blue Valley School District, which has gotten a lot of praise around here. So that's where everybody usually starts their journey. But especially, some of my own clients that I work with who are watching these videos and they reach out to me because they're trying to find the best place to buy a home. They see some of the advantages that Olathe has compared to Overland Park, and they end up switching gears entirely. Two of those big advantages are, one, the amount of development and growth and room for growth that Olathe still has left. Overland Park is kind of getting close to its southern boundary and its southern limit very quickly with many new home communities out there. Olathe still has a lot of room to continue expanding. You've got a lot of big employers in the area, and a lot of these employers are bringing in employees from all over the world. Now, the second big reason that a lot of people are moving to Olathe is because the cost of living is a step down from the premium that you would otherwise be paying in Overland Park. Here's a chart and a graph that'll show you the difference between Overland Park, many of the other cities that you'll find similar to Olathe in the Johnson County area, such as Lenexa. So those are the big two. Lots of new homes to choose from, more in Olathe than any other city on the Kansas side, possibly more than any other city in the entire Kansas City metro. And two, the cost of living is one of the most affordable in Johnson County. We're going to pull up the map. I'm going to show you where Olathe is on the map, the major things that you need to know, and we're going to first cover the major streets in Olathe. So here we go. We've got Olathe, which is south and west. I've got a whole other video that's coming out, the things that people cannot stand about living in Olathe. One of the biggest ones is being this far away from Kansas City proper. Kansas City proper is on the other side of state line. It falls on the Missouri side, and it's like right along state line right here. So where you see Kansas City and all the way down about to 435. So that's one of the biggest problems that what people have about the location of Olathe. Another one is how spread out it is. So you've got a couple highways that are cutting through the middle of Olathe. One of the other problems that a lot of people have is you can't quite see it, but we've got several railroads that are also cutting through Olathe. So back in the early 2000s, this was a huge problem. It caused large delays. It made it tough for kids to get to school on time, people to get to work on time. So they actually elevated those crossroads in 2008. They spent about $46 million to do it, and it solved the problem temporarily. You'll see like upwards of 80 trains going through Olathe every single day, several every single hour. Now, Olathe, you're looking at about 23 minutes to downtown Kansas City, which again is right around here. If you were trying to go to the airport, you're looking at about 40 minutes north to Kansas City International Airport, and you can just hop on I-35, take 435 north, and that'll land you right at the new terminal at the Kansas City International Airport. Now, the traffic in Olathe is not that bad. It's the only caveat here. Once you've got a car, everything gets easier. Yes, it's widespread. Yes, you're going to be doing a lot of driving, especially if you'd like to go to Overland Park, Lenexa, even the Missouri side. You're going to need a car to get anywhere. But once you have it, it gets a lot easier to get around the Kansas City metro. 30 minutes or less, just like you saw. But here are the main roads that you'll be taking in Olathe. So the first big road that you really need to know about is College Boulevard. It cuts all the way east into Overland Park. Lots of shops along College Boulevard. You can take it west, but it kind of ends near Cedar Creek, which is a huge new home community and a very expensive one that's right there. Another road that you need to go is if we go a couple blocks south, 119th Street. You'll see some shops on the screen. We'll break those down here just shortly. 119th also cuts through Overland Park. You'll find a lot of shops out there right before you hit I-69, which is this highway that comes off of I-35. So another street that you'll need to know is 135th Street, especially if you're heading east. That's where you'll find Prairie Fire, which is right around here in Overland Park. And then if we continue going down, the next major one is going to be 151st Street, which same deal. You've got Black Bob Park right there. And again, if you head east, you're going to be finding a lot of shops that you would find in Overland Park along 151st Street. Now, the major highways that you need to know about: I-35, it's going to take you south about 4 hours to Oklahoma, about 8 hours to Dallas, Texas, 10 hours to Austin, Texas. If you take I-35 north, it's going to put you in downtown Kansas City. If you take it across the river, it's going to put you in North Kansas City. Now, another big highway you need to know about is 435, which is going to get you into Overland Park very quickly. It's also going to get you into Leawood, and possibly, if you need to, across state line. If you were going to the lake, it turns into 470. It'll get you around Lake Lotawana right here, and it'll even get you near Longview. Now, if you were to take 435 west, it turns into K10, and then you'd end up in Lawrence, Kansas right here in about 35 minutes. KU basketball's big. KU football's been getting bigger and bigger. A lot of unique shops and restaurants that you'll find in Lawrence, Kansas. Now, next up, we've got the schools. And like any school district, the Olathe Public Schools, it depends where you're living in Olathe, but they'll cover the majority. It's just when we get to the borders of Olathe, some of the fringe of Olathe, you'll be falling into some different school districts that you need to know about. So we're going to break those down, pull up the map, and I'll take you through each and every one of them. Shawnee Mission School District covers the northeastern tip of Olathe. We've got the Blue Valley School District, DeSoto School District. It covers you in this northwestern part of Olathe. This is where you'll find Cedar Creek and the Shadow Glen Golf Course, and we'll cover this at the end of this video where we talk about new home communities. It happens to be one of the biggest master plan communities. They've been building here for like nearly a decade. It's beautiful, gorgeous, and there are some very high ticket home prices in that area. But it is split among the DeSoto School District and the Olathe Public Schools. Another part, if you're in the southwestern corner of Olathe, we're falling into the Gardner-Edgerton School District. This is a smaller school district, as Gardner and Edgerton are both smaller cities that are way outside of the Kansas City metro area. And then the other one that you really got to look out for is the Spring Hill School District right here. I don't say that because it's a bad school district or anything. In fact, it's seen a tremendous amount of growth over the last several years. I say that because the boundaries can be a little bit tricky. For example, you can be located around 151st Street and fall in the Olathe Public Schools on one side of the street. On the other side of the street, especially if you get close to the Stonebridge trails, you're falling in the Spring Hill School District. So depending on which school district that you're really eyeing, and we'll talk about the differences, Spring Hill versus Olathe Public Schools in just a moment, that is something that you want to be aware of. And for help making sure that you're buying a home in the right school district for you, all of my contact information is in the description. Give me a call, text, or email, and we'll make sure you get a good deal while we're at it. So here are all of the different schools, the individual schools in the Olathe School District, and you can see they cover a majority of the city of Olathe. Again, it's just those fringe kind of edges of Olathe that are going to be falling in different school districts. Now, you'll notice that if you live right here at Olathe, where Madison Place Elementary is, you're in the Olathe Public School District. But if you cross into Stonebridge Trails, you're now in the Spring Hill School District. And there's a big controversy between the Spring Hill School District and people that are, kind of on the edge about moving to Spring Hill. I'll put a link to a Reddit thread. That's right. We're defaulting to Reddit, but there's some info that you might want to see. It can get like a little political, but if I were a parent of a student, I'd want to know what's happening in that school district, and that thread will speak to the politics of what's happening on the board. Now, the big difference between the Spring Hill School District and the Olathe Public Schools is a 21st century program that the Olathe high schools have put in place. What this basically looks like is, yes, based on where you live in Olathe, that will determine the middle and elementary schools you go to, but once we get into high school, there are 15 different academies, 15 different, let's say, majors, similar to in college, where depending on which academy you like to go to, you'll apply to it. Once they accept you, each of these academies are housed in a different high school in the Olathe School District. So whenever your children want to study, whether it's exercise science, whether it's something that's like pre-med, or whether it's something relating to business and finance, based on the different high school, there will be different academies in that high school. So once they get to that age, that will determine which high school they go to. So basically what I'm saying is your child will have a set elementary school and middle school, but once we get to high school, it could be any of the high schools in the Olathe School District. Now, up next, we're going to cover all the places that you could go for shops, entertainment, restaurants, anything else that you would need to know, places to visit, where you'll spend your time when living in Olathe. One of the biggest criticisms that people have of living in Olathe is a lot of people say it's boring, that there's not things to do, that there are not locally owned businesses, there are just big box chain stores. Let's assume that that's true at face value. Olathe is a self-contained city, so what you need to know about it is that there are a lot of people who live in Olathe that have no need to travel outside of the city limits. If they do, a lot of people will live in Olathe because of the lower cost of living and do a lot of their life day-to-day activities like going to shops, restaurants, etc. in Overland Park, or maybe they'll head north to Lenexa. But this is a city where everything that you could possibly need is in the city, where you're not going to have to drive 30 minutes into town just to go to the gym, for example. Olathe is a self-contained city. Some people find it boring. Usually that's the case for younger people who don't have families, or for people that are just looking for a lot of excitement. And most of that is solved by just going a few minutes away to Overland Park. Now, keep in mind, Overland Park is the neighbor to Olathe. So about 10 to 15 minutes, you're getting to most places in Overland Park. I'm going to get a little bit more specific based on all of the streets and the main roads that we talked about at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to start on College Boulevard, which is one of the most popular roads that you'll need to know because going east will get you into Overland Park and many of the shops there. So here we go. If we follow College Boulevard, you'll start to see some shops around the Johnson County Community College. There are a lot more than it's showing here. A very popular one, Grasso's, is an incredible Italian place. The menu is very good, lots of good options. So if we head east on College Boulevard, just about 10 to 15 minutes, right here we'll run into some of the highways. You'll find a lot of stores, more than it's showing right here. A big popular one is Q39, a barbecue place. They've got a couple different locations. The other one is located on 39th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. You've also got Lamar's Donuts and Coffee, a very popular donut place around here. You'll find some locations throughout the Kansas City metro. And then, of course, once we get to Metcalf, you've got some shops up and down Metcalf as well. You've got Jack Stack's Barbecue, another popular barbecue place around here. And that's not the last one we'll mention. So we're going to return back to kind of where we started, which is College Boulevard. If we head south a little bit, we're going to be on 119th Street. This was the other main road, and I pointed that out because of exactly what we're taking a look at here, which are all of the shops that you'll find in Olathe off 119th. On either side of the highway, you've got a bunch of hotels around here. You've got AMC's Dine-In Theater, and then you've of course got Crumble Cookies, which is a very popular cookie place. It's got a ton of reviews. It is constantly packed. You've got Hy-Vee, which is one of our popular grocery stores around here. I know if you're from Florida, you've got Publix. If you're from New York, you've got Wegmans. This is kind of our kind of chain local grocery store. They've got them throughout the Midwest region, and you'll see them in many cities in the Kansas City metro. But here's the deal. If we head east, same thing. You're going to run into a bunch of stores and restaurants once we get to Metcalf. You'll see them all right here on the screen. This is where you've got the Cheesecake Factory right here. You've got a First Watch, which is a popular breakfast place around here. Some people love it. Some people hate it. For the most part, I think they've got some pretty good reviews. You've got a lot of other stuff going on. So if we head back to where we started, we get back to Olathe. Now, a couple other places that I should point out here that are just like some fan favorites. You've got KC Joe's, which was previously Oklahoma Joe's. This is arguably one of the best barbecue places you could go to in Kansas City. This is not the original location. The original location is off 47th Street in Roland Park in Kansas City, Kansas. Another one, Torchy's, big chain from Oklahoma. If you're from Texas, you've been to Torchy's. It is a staple. It has recently come to Kansas City, and this is one of the locations you'll find it in. Here's where you can kind of see that criticism, where there are a lot of big chain restaurants. Like, not only do you have your Longhorn Steakhouse, but you've also got your Texas Roadhouse, in case there's not enough variety or enough to choose from. And then you'll see a bunch of other chain stores. And this is one of the criticisms that a lot of people have. Now, one last store that I want to point out in this like 119th Street, 119th and Black Bob and Olathe, you've got Silas and Maddie's, which is an excellent ice cream place. Here are some pictures of what it looks like. This is just a staple. You'll find some locations throughout the Kansas City area. There's one in Lawrence, for example. And this is just a fan favorite, a classic hit. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to go down to 135th Street, which was the other main road that you could take. You can see we've got a lot of shops. There are a lot of Mexican and taco restaurants that you can find along 135th Street, especially in this area of Olathe. You've got like a Waffle House. You've got some other chains like Little Caesars, McDonald's, Long John Silver's. A long time since I've seen anything like that. You've got a classic Italian place right there. And then if we keep heading east here, once we get to Black Bob, you can see we've got even more. We've got a Jose Peppers, Raising Cane's, pretty much any like chain restaurant place that you could possibly want to go to. This is like the 5th Chipotle that we've seen, the 2nd Dairy Queen that we've seen. And then as we head east even more on 135th, once we get to Quivira, we've got even more places to choose from. As we get closer to Schweitzer, even more. As we get close to Antioch, we've got a ton to choose from. We've got a Chicken and Pickle. So this is Prairie Fire. This is a kind of a newer development of shops that you'll find in Overland Park. Now, the last kind of shopping place that I want to show you is 151st Street. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. You've got the Peanut, which they've got one downtown. They've got one in Mission, Kansas. This is another local chain store. You've got Austin's Bar and Grill in South Olathe, which is a popular spot. And then you've got some other chain stores like a Red Robin, a Culver's, Aldi. If you want to do some affordable grocery shopping, another popular one would be 54th Street Scratch Grill and Bar. Just a classic staples. They've got some really good food and some really good ratings. Look at how good that looks. So if I go east just a little bit, we'll land on Black Bob Park. If you do take a look at the video I linked above, top 13 reasons why people love living in Olathe, Black Bob Park is one of them. Not only do you have the huge, I'm going to show you in a second, not only do you have the playground, lots of things to do. You've got baseball fields, soccer fields, anything that you could possibly want, but you've also got an incredible pool with a lazy river. This is one of the biggest pools in the Johnson County area. Swim team is a big deal here in Johnson County. Occupies the time of a lot of kids during the summer, but I can tell you when the meets happen at Black Bob, which is only usually like once or twice a year, they are huge and there are a lot of people around, but that pool is incredible. I'm going to see if I can get you some more pictures. So here are the soccer fields that you'll see there. They host huge events. This is the farmers market that's held here at Black Bob Park. They've got a mini golf course here as well. So not only do you have Smiley's to your north, you've got this to your south. Now, the last two places that I want to show you are possibly my favorites. You've got Lake Olathe, which is just incredible. I mean, driving past Lake Olathe is one thing, but being there is a whole different story. They've got a floating obstacle course. Let me see if... So they do have a park there. They've got a floating obstacle course. They've got things that you can rent. So like the paddle boats where you pedal throughout the water. Here's kind of a, okay, that wasn't very helpful. You can go canoeing. There are some very scenic views. They spent millions of dollars to make an above ground man-made beach at Lake Olathe. So you've got a playground here. So here's the floating obstacle course. They sell tickets. The admission is pretty low, and it gets you basically a full day on the obstacle course, which is just very cool, a very popular place to be. You can go on a paddle boats with friends, lots of things to do, whether you've got younger kids or you just want to go out on a day with your significant other. This swim beach is certainly really cool. This is kind of, I want to show you a little bit more about what they've done here because this is very incredible. They've got a splash pad for the kids, so you don't have to get in the water. Lots of people going picnicking here. And then of course you've got just like some scenic views. You can go paddle boarding, all sorts of fun stuff. Look at all this. They put art from the city. The city leases these art pieces and puts them throughout the city, which is a nice, cool touch. Just so much to do. So I'm going to exit out and we're going to go to the last one that I want to mention. This is certainly not it. There are certainly others that you can go and do, but Heritage Park. So we talked about Black Bob. Heritage Park is just a couple blocks south of Black Bob. This is huge. You've got a big lake. You've got tons of soccer fields. So if you've got kids playing soccer, they're not only going to play at the Garmin Olathe Soccer Complex or the Overland Park Soccer Complex. This is one. Again, you've got Heritage Lake, and then you've got an off-leash dog park. You've got a golf course there as well. It's a public golf course. You've got softball fields, another disc golf course, just anything that you could possibly want. More soccer fields down here. A lot to do in Olathe. Now, the final part of this video is all about the real estate and just the rack of new homes that you'll find in Olathe. Kind of like what we talked about, you're going to find more new homes and more new subdivisions in Olathe than possibly any other city in the Kansas City area. And not just that, but you're going to be able to buy one of these new homes at a discount compared to the premium you'll most likely have to pay in many other cities like in Overland Park, a Leawood, Prairie Village, etc. And if we go over to the Missouri side, these prices might look pretty comparable to what you would see in like Lee Summit, for example. So let's dive into the map and we'll take a look. Here are all of the homes that you can see for sale in Olathe. It looks like there are close to 460 on the market, but give me just a second because let me show you this. Once we limit the year built to 2015, so these are all pre-existing homes, we lose about over 100 listings. Like, look at this. And these are all homes that for the most part are still new. I don't know why that didn't fix it, but this is like a brand new home that is still being built in Stonebridge, which If you're interested in Stonebridge, I'll link my whole video to Stonebridge right here. This is a Rodrock community. There are 4 different neighborhoods. You've got price points from $600 all the way up to $1 million, but most homes are going to be falling between like the upper 500s, lower 600s, and probably close to 700. And you're right near Heritage Park, so you've got all of that green space near you. This one, however, does fall in the Spring Hill School District. The benefit, if you watch that Stonebridge video, you've got a brand new middle school facility right there. You've got the elementary school across the street, and then it's just a 10-minute drive south to Spring Hill Elementary. Now, 2 other communities got a video out right now, Boulder Hills and Boulder Creek. You can see it right here. You've got Boulder Hills, Boulder Creek that are sitting side by side. Again, they go along Heritage Park. These, you're going to find some similar price points, but there's one change, which is you've got some villas and some full-blown estates. So the villas being maintenance provided. In one of these communities, you'll have to watch that video to find out. One of the communities, they're double-sided villas, so like a nice way to say duplex. And then in the other one, they're standalone single family homes that are just a little bit smaller. They're all ranches or reverse 1.5s, and they're all around the 500 price point. But the estates go all the way up to 800 or 900. And I'll link my tour of the Lila, which just sold for over 950 grand. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and you can see we've got new construction all over the place. You've got several pieces of land that in the future will be sold, eventually graded, and then developed as an entire subdivision. So like this one is almost 50 acres at only $1.2 million. 14 possible estate lots with 2 to 3 acres on each of them. So that's a lot of what you'll see in Olathe, and the reason that there's so much expansion happening. But this isn't the only place you'll find new homes. That's just one corner of Olathe. If we head over near Lake Olathe, you've got Oak Run Olathe, the most affordable new homes that you'll find in Olathe, starting in the 400s. That does mean that they are going to use some less expensive materials and less expensive labor. So we can't quite expect the same quality that we would expect in an $800,000 home in some of those homes. You've also got Lakeshore Meadows, which is developed by Inspired Homes, big home builder in the Kansas City area. They build all over the metro, and they develop their own communities, which happen to be a little bit more affordable most of the time. They've also got another new one. Where is it? The Huntford is another new one that's just across the street from the Lakeshore Meadows. Similar price point, similar types of homes. Both are being developed by Inspired Homes. Now, in this area, you also have the greens at Prairie Highlands. This is being developed by SAB Homes. So, for example, one of the brand new floor plans that SAB Homes is testing out is the Redbud 2. This will be in the spring parade of homes. What makes this home different, classic 2-story home. You've got the master upstairs. You've got a separate dining room. But the one thing that stands out about this one is you've got a tandem 4th-car garage. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, I'll put a picture on the screen because I've toured this, and it is way bigger in person. That 4th-car garage stall is way bigger in person than you could possibly imagine. It's right behind that single stall right there. So different spin, very interesting, and it offers something very novel. So they'll do several future phases that are coming. Got several homes that are left to build and to purchase. You've got the Lakeshore Meadows, kind of like we talked about. This is that Lake Olathe area. And then right here, you've got Prieb Homes, one of the biggest home builders in the area. This is Prairie Farms. You'll find homes just like this one that cost about $600,000, 5 beds, 4 baths. This is the Harlow, the Levi 2 floor plan, which is one of the most popular ones. Pretty classic 2-story home. And then you've got several plots of land that they're selling in here as well. But this is a really big community that they're developing here, and there's a lot of construction that they've got to do left. And we're nowhere near done yet. So we've got several more that we'll go through. So this one right here is Forest View. The entry to Forest View is just incredible. This is a picture of the entry. Let me see if I can get you another. It is just driving up one of the most scenic places you could possibly drive in Olathe. So Forest View, you've got Forest View Elementary in the middle of it. So it is, where is Forest View? I think the elementary school is right here. I've only been in this community once. You can expect prices as low as $600,000. Some of the prices go way over $1 million. They do have a few homes left, but they're getting close to closing out this entire development. Now, if we follow Forest View and we go east a little bit, you'll find Arbor Woods. This is in a similar phase. They're kind of at the end of building. You've got that elementary school in the middle, and then you've got just like one kind of area, one phase of homes that's left, from things that are move-in ready, from homes that are spec homes that are almost done being constructed, and then lots that you could actually build on. This is, again, a Rodrock community, similar pricing, but a lower price point that you'll find in Arbor Woods. Now, if we go across the highway here, we'll find a bunch of villas right here. Here's a really big home priced at $1 million. This is just a piece of land. So you got 12 acres for sale. Again, lots of land for sale in this area. If we go near the railroad tracks, you've got the Woodland Highlands, which is being developed by Prieb, who developed Prairie Farms that we took a look at just a couple seconds ago. This is the type of home that you'll find. This is the Brooklyn 2, $590,000, but you're getting 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. This is one of the most affordable prices. You'll see a home with this type of footprint at this size being priced in all of Johnson County. The one thing you've got to think about, though, in the Woodland Hills, which is a huge subdivision, is you've got these railroad tracks here. Now, keep in mind, the city is invested in this quiet downtown project, which is where the railroads go through, so they're not ringing their horns or sounding the horns all the time, but this is something to be aware of. The benefit, though, is you're on College Boulevard, and that'll get you to Overland Park and anywhere else you need to go in Johnson County very quickly. All of these homes that you see right here, this is Cedar Creek, the biggest master plan community in all of Johnson County. It is huge. They've been building these homes for a very, very long time, and they've still got lots of land to develop left. Now, I'm going to show you some of these homes just so you can get an idea of what we're talking about here. $1 million. They just increased the price probably because materials went up. 4 beds, 4 baths, 3,500 square feet, and it is probably in the estates, which means you're getting a bigger lot instead of a smaller lot. Here's one that's listed at $500. This looks like a resale home built in 1993. So that's how long Cedar Creek has been around. Now, keep in mind, all of these new home communities that we're seeing, these are newer parts of Olathe. We'll take a look at the older parts of Olathe here in a second. Here's another example, 5 beds, 5 bath, 4,300 square feet at $1.35 million. And of course, this is one of the best builders with BK Builds. Now, one last one that I'll show you, built in 2023, $1.19 thousand. True Design Homes, the Hidden Lake Estates. This is the most expensive neighborhood in Cedar Creek. You've most likely got views of the golf course, possibly of Shadow Lake, and it is scenic, beautiful, and certainly worth it if this is something that you would love to live near. I mean, this just goes on and on. They've got several different neighborhoods, several different prices. The lowest ones you'll find in the 500s, which are usually going to be maintenance provided villas in a lot of these communities. This just happens to be one of the biggest new home communities in the area. So there really aren't a ton of resale homes in Olathe, and this is mostly due to them being priced really low, so they're the homes that get bought up first, because most demand right now is from first-time home buyers. That's the price point they're shopping at. Most people are not buying a new construction home right off the bat because they start at the 500s, which is a little bit steeper. Usually that's a move-up range when we're talking about buying your first home or second home. So one thing that you've got to watch out for, new versus old parts of Olathe, there will be a divide. The city tends to, according to a lot of comments and reviews on niche.com, the city tends to prioritize spending money in the newer parts of Olathe. It makes sense, right? As compared to the older parts of Olathe. So if you're looking for the best new home community, I'll link my full video breaking down those new home communities right here. If you'd like to find the best floor plan, the best builder, find the best lot, and shop around different communities so you're getting the best value for your money, I would love to help. It's one of my specialties. All my contact info is below. Send me a text, give me a phone call, or send me an email. I'll get to know you, what you're looking for, and then I'll serve you up the top 3 new home communities, builders, or floor plans on a silver platter, so you know you're getting the best bang for your buck. If you enjoyed this video, if you have any questions about buying a home in Olathe, finding the best suburb that you could buy a home in the Kansas City area, I would love to help you narrow down your search and answer any questions you've got. Go ahead and reach out to me. Subscribe to this channel so you're the first to see these videos that are covering the newest and latest, greatest things in the Kansas City suburbs, market updates, property tours, and everything else. Hit that like button if you think I've earned it and if other people would benefit from it, and I will see you on the next one.